Great Forest Development versus Dehaneel, Cassie, Hawkins, and others. On behalf of Great Forest.
Jessica Weiss with Nationwide.
Good morning, Ms. Weiss.
Also the committee manager,
Do I
Trisha
have
Hatcher.
Oh, good morning, Ms. Hatcher. Thank you as well. Do I have someone here on behalf of Dehaneel?
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do I have anyone here on behalf of Cassie Hawkins? No. All right. Good morning.
You do, Your Honor. There we go.
He's here. Okay.
Is Hawkins here as well?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right then. Ms. Weiss, why is this eviction sought?
For non-payment of rent, Your Honor, the monthly rent is $1,770. They owe back rent for August and September in the full amount of $1,770 for a total of $335.40. I prorated for October at $399 for a total of $39.39. The notice to vacate was hand delivered to Cassie or to Mr. Hawkins on September 5th of 2025.
Any subsidy?
No, not that I saw, Your Honor.
All right. Was this a CARES property?
No, not that I was aware, not that I'm aware of.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Neal, Mr. Hawkins. Thank you for joining us. Ms. Weiss works for a company called Nationwide. I see her group a lot. They do quite a few cases on behalf of landlords, but you may have never seen her or heard of her because she's not someone who's going to be down at the office, okay? But Ms. Weiss says that this case is one related to finances. She said that under the lease, the monthly rent is $1,770 or $1,770. Is that correct, Ms. Neal, Mr. Hawkins?
It is correct, yes.
Okay. And then she said that rent wasn't paid or hasn't been paid for August, September, and now October. Is that correct as well?
Well, July and August was initially supposed to be free, but I guess because I'm behind in rent, I now owe that. But so I don't necessarily agree with August because July and August was supposed to be free.
Was that like an incentive when you moved in? They give you a concession of some sort?
Yes, for signing a 15-month lease.
Under the lease, does it say if you fail to make payment on time that the concession has to come back? Because that's typically what I see, and that's why so that may be the answer as to why they're asking for that now.
Yes, and it does say that.
Okay, and how about September? Was September paid?
I did try to pay September. They disabled the portal on August like 20th, and I had it set up through a company where I could like split the rent payments where they, I pay them a portion and they pay the rest. But because the portal was disabled, they weren't able to pay it.
Okay. That's not uncommon. I hear that too. Once one payment is missed, they stop the portal and then it gets a little bit more difficult after that. All right. And same thing for October, not able to make a payment?
Correct.
All right. I will say this, today it's a judgment for the plaintiff, but you certainly can talk to the landlord now and see if some resolution can be reached. They don't have to. I'll be really clear. Legally, the landlord can say, we want your money and we want you to move out.
Okay.
But I have definitely had situations where kind of in this situation, they couldn't accept the money until the case is heard, but you can call them and try to work it out in the next 5 days. If you do nothing, the judgment becomes final on day 6.
Okay.
Okay, and that's also the soonest that they can get a writ of possession. So, all right then, today it's going to be a judgment as sought. It's $39.39, and that number is based on all the month for August, all the month of September, and then a very small portion of October. So she's only asking for the 7 days of the month. Remember that the portal or the balance they give you if you called your landlord is quite likely going to be a higher number. It would probably be all of October and may include things like late fees or utility bills if those are also due. Okay.
So for the appeal, what would I have to, if I want to do the appeal, how much would I have to pay? Just be the 17?
No, because this one is since August. Well, yeah, I put the appeal bond at $1,770. And if you can't afford the appeal bond, but you still want to do it, you may qualify for what's called an affidavit of inability.
Okay.
And then here's the thing, and we're going to send you this information in writing. We send it to everyone in English and Spanish. If you appeal, even if you can appeal for free with the affidavit of inability, in order to stay living in the apartment while the case is being heard before a new court, you have to pay rent of $1,770 every time it comes due. So first you have to pay it for the month of October, and then you got to start paying it November 1st and so on. Otherwise, the landlord gets a writ of possession, you still have to move out anyway. Okay, so those are two different things. So please do look at your options if you want to appeal. But we will send you all that today. So judgment is $39.39 plus cost of court. Either party can appeal. Appeal bond would be $1,770.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Ms. Neal, those are great questions. How about Mr. Hawkins? Any questions from you, sir?
No.
All right. Ms. Weiss, anything?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Good luck to all parties. Then all parties are excused.
All right, thank you.
Bridgepoint Ventures versus Larry Jobarta. On behalf of Bridgepoint.
Yes, Your Honor. My name's Hong Lee with Bridgepoint.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Morning.
Do I have someone here on behalf of Larry Jobarta? I see, Mr. Barta, I see you there. You'll need to unmute, sir. If you press *6 on your phone, we'll send you a request to unmute you, sir.
There it is.
Good morning, Mr. Barta. Thank you for being with us. All right.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am. How are
Lee,
you today?
You know, I wish the air conditioner worked better in here, but I'm not going to complain about it, or at least not too much. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Lee, good morning. Tell me why this eviction is sought.
Your Honor, we're here for non-payment of rent and also some lease violations. As far as non-payment of rent, we had served the 3-day notice September 5th. And also prior to that, but I guess the latest was September 5th that we filed on. We served it in person and also regular mail. The tenant is behind $660. And if we add the October rental portion, it's another $132, so total $792.
Mr. Lee, how much is the monthly rent? Start with that.
Okay, the monthly rent is $13.86 per month. It is assisted rent, government assisted $12.54 per month, and the
Okay,
tenant portion is
yeah, his portion is
$132.
132.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What months are unpaid?
From May 1st through October 6th. So that's 6 months.
Now, is this a CARES property?
It is not.
All right. And you said the notice to vacate was, you said it was delivered in person and via mail. Was that hand delivered or was it on the door and mailed?
It was hand delivered September 5th.
Okay. All right. And then you said, so that's the non-payment measures. What about the lease violations?
The tenant has extra occupants living with him, and we've tried to work with him for many months now to not do that, but he's kept them more than the 10 days guest policy and for months. And along with that, there comes unauthorized utility use. There's unsanitary residence. There's always trash and garbage we're trying to manage and ask him to clean up. And there's also, I've got a list here, but there's more.
That's fine. All right. Good morning, Mr. Barta. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Lee is here. He's on behalf of the landlord. And he says
Yes,
there's a
ma'am.
few reasons, but one that's pretty easy to talk about is going to be the rent one. So he says that the amount you owe, sir, is $132. Is that correct, Mr. Barta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Lee says that rent hasn't been paid for several months now, that it's remained unpaid since May. Is that also correct?
Mhm. I guess so, ma'am.
All right. Well, Mr. Barta, with that information, the landlord would receive an eviction today. I want to make sure I give you full information. Do you immediately already have any questions for me?
Ma'am, I've been trying to get this done and take care of it. I got 300 for him right here, right now. It's me. I do want to pay this stuff. I'm trying to get it paid.
All right, sir, I understand your desire to pay. The landlord may be willing to work with you after this, but per the contract, it has to be paid on time. So
Yes, ma'am.
if it remains unpaid since May, I find that would be $132 for 5 months. I get $660 through
Okay.
September.
Like I said, right now, I have 300 for him right now.
And then I get $30 for the amount that's due through today. So Mr. Lee, Mr. Barta, today the court would calculate back rent at $690, but that is what's owed and due to the landlord at this stage. So Mr. Barta, that would be the judgment, $690. Either party can appeal. The appeal bond would be $264. Mr. Barta, if you're receiving a government subsidy, quite likely you would qualify for the affidavit of inability. However, in order to remain in your apartment, if you appeal, you do have to pay the $132. You pay that directly to the courthouse. We will send you instructions specifically about that. Okay, sir?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for me? Otherwise, all parties are excused.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Barta. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you.
Urban Oaks Partnership versus Shamil Davis and others. We have Mr. Davis here, I'm sorry, Mr. Hendrick here on behalf of 6725 Urban Oaks. I have someone here on behalf of Shamil Davis. I'm here on behalf of that matter. All right, Mr. Hendrick, why don't you tell me about this one?
Yes, we're seeking eviction due to non-payment of rent. The lease itself was signed on April the 1st, 2025. It provided for a monthly rent prior to a subsidy in the amount of $1,686. The housing authority did give a subsidy, leaving the defendant's share of $275 per month. The notice to vacate date, August the 7th, 2025, was sent by first class mail. It's not been returned, and he gave them 30 days notice. The total amount of the past due rent is $612. And that's $275 for August and September. October is $62. The certificate of last known address was filed for September 17th, 2025, and the declaration regarding military service was dated September 17th, 2025.
And then same question, Mr. Hedrick, was it 30 days because the landlord prefers it, or is it because it was a CARES property?
I'm assuming this was a care property, but
It complies regardless, so.
yes.
It's on my little chart here. I'd like to follow through. All right. I do see that a citation was returned and given to the defendant. In fact, it was left with someone who was 16 years of older, Nonaya Jones, and that was done for Shamil Davis. And that was for cause 25-1326, served by Deputy Gaitan with our Constable Precinct 3. So defendant is aware of the lawsuit and the date for court. I also received a copy of the military affidavit, as you attested, they are not currently deployed. And so he said it's $275 is the plaintiff's share, because there is a government subsidy. So judgment for the plaintiff, $612 plus cost of court. On appeal, we put that at $275 as well. If they're receiving a subsidy, it's pretty much going to take care of itself that way. All right. Mr. Hendrick, was that your last matter?
That is it.
Thank you. Then you're all excused. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so it'll be Miss Moore next. I don't know what's going on with the order.
Yeah, it's going to be, you and I understand the same thing. It just sort of jumped in. So the next will be 251334. That's Michelle Browning versus Deanne Moore. Do I have someone here on behalf of Michelle Browning?
Good morning. This is Michelle Browning.
Good
I'm
morning.
sorry, I can't get my camera to work.
That's fine, ma'am.
Thank
Do
you.
I have anyone here on behalf of Deanne Moore?
This is Deanne Moore, and I have no idea how any of this works.
You're fine.
I don't do Zoom, so I just don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't need to see anyone to
I
be able
managed to unmute.
to hear the case.
I'm-
You're doing great,
you know.
Ms. Moore. All right, Ms. Browning, tell me why this eviction sought.
This is for non-payment of rent. We have not received the rent for September nor for October.
All right, how much is the monthly rent?
$2,400.
Is there any government subsidy?
No, ma'am.
Is this property under the CARES Act?
No, ma'am.
All right, what day did you give the notice to vacate?
September 15th,
And how did you deliver it to the defendant?
in person.
All right. Good morning.
I
Ms.
did not receive it. It was delivered to somebody who is staying at my house. I was
Okay.
at work.
All right, Ms. Moore, good morning.
Hi.
Ms. Browning says this case is one about a financial situation. She says that the monthly rent is $2,400. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then she said that rent hasn't been paid for September or October. Is that also correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, Ms. Moore, with that information, the landlord does meet their burden in one of these kind of cases. So if you've been listening along this morning, you've probably heard me repeating sort of the same information, but I always like to answer any questions to make sure that it's clear to each party. So immediately, do you have any questions for me?
I have been doing my best to vacate since I got the notice.
Okay.
I have been physically handicapped due to a medical injury in January that has yet to heal. And so I'm operating in about 40% capacity. which makes it really hard to vacate a 3-bedroom home with a 2-car garage and a storage shed in 3 days. I am, like I said, I am literally moving out. I don't have sufficient funds to hire movers, but I have some friends that are trying to help me, and we're doing the best that we can. I have attempted everything. I've tried to tap into my retirement account, but that takes 12 weeks. I've tried to tap into disability, but that takes 8 to 12 weeks and even longer now with the shutdown. I'm doing everything I can, and I just, yeah, I'm trying to get out. I'm just so physically handicapped. I'm really struggling.
What's more, you absolutely by law have at least 5 more days, and tomorrow is day 1,
Okay.
right? And depending on when day 5 is, you might actually have 6 days because the landlord cannot get a writ of possession legally until the appeals period ends. And you have at least 5 days to appeal. Now,
Okay.
the landlord has up to 60 days to get a writ of possession. So just for both parties, if there's otherwise, this is everyone's own discretion here. The law says the landlord cannot get the writ of possession before the appeals period ends. So that would be, the soonest would be day 6. They have
Starting
up to
tomorrow.
60 days to do it. So for example, I have landlords who allow tenants, they work with a tenant and don't come and get a writ of possession me for 20 to 25 days. That's just because the landlord has that discretion. So that's not the court ordering anything. I can say that by law, you absolutely have at least 5 more days, Ms. Moore, before the landlord gets a writ of possession, and then the constable notifies you of it. And then if you haven't left, this stuff would be removed.
Because we're like, I don't know, at least 85% out. I'm so physically limited. I can't do it all. I just can't do it.
Ms. Moore, I'm going to give you the final numbers, okay? And Ms. Brown, you
Okay.
as well. So the judgment is for the plaintiff. I calculated the back rent to be $2,941, which is $2,400 for the month of September and $541 for these 7 days of October. Now that's the court's judgment. Again, it's going to say something different in your leasing. Either party can appeal. The appeal bond would be equal to 1 month of rent. That's $2,400. If either party wants to appeal, but you can't afford the bond, again, you might qualify to do it for free. But in a non-payment case, then rent has to get paid. All right, Ms. Moore, Ms. Browning, when we checked you in, we got email addresses for you. We're going to email you a copy of the order this afternoon. That way you can immediately start reaching out to any of those legal aid providers or talk to one another about, a likely timeline of events. All right.
Okay.
Very good luck to
Can
both of
you
you.
can you tell me, because I don't have the money to pay that right off the bat. I have no intention of defaulting on it whatsoever. This is totally a situation that I was not expecting and has not been in my control all year. And I just, yeah, what are my options here? I mean, I couldn't even find legal help today.
Ms. Moore, I will say that now that you have officially, legally, you've been evicted today. Call
Right.
every single legal aid group and tell them I got evicted this morning. I've absolutely heard from defendants in your situation that legal aid couldn't help them until they were at this sort of dire, it's over. You've been evicted. In the next 5 days, if something doesn't happen, the landlord can make you leave. That is why I would say call all those agencies again and tell them that your circumstances have changed. Because if you talked to them last week, you were maybe getting evicted. Now it's official, it's happened. At least
Okay.
anecdotally, what I've heard from defendants is that they do get more help or that they can reach someone in a quicker fashion because your timeline is shorter than it was last week.
Okay. Well,
All
that's
right.
helpful because I mean, none of this hospital or, OT, PT rehab places have ever offered any kind of actual assistance
Take
and
a look at
told
our
me
website,
to
Ms.
get
Moore, and
help.
as a starting place, a lot of those services can also refer you to other services. Okay, ma'am?
Okay, thank you.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
ma'am. Good luck. Thank you both. All
Thank
parties
you,
for
ma'am.
that matter are excused. John Luton, versus Ismail Variel. Do I have someone here on behalf of the plaintiff? Is it Luton or Luton? I apologize.
It's Luton. The bailiff put an extra T in there.
Okay. Well, good morning to you, sir. And do I have someone here on behalf of Ismail Villarreal? No, not having anyone check in. All right. Why don't you tell me why this eviction is sought, sir, and I'll pull up service to the defendant.
Okay, the reasons being, I'm the owner. The reasons being no payment in September, no payment in October, lease violations, and the lease actually ended on November 30th. Excuse me, September 30th, the lease actually ended. I did a post, I posted the eviction notice on September 14th of 2025. I left it on the door. The tenant was likely home, but ghosting me because I heard his dog barking. He's got drinking problems, so he's difficult to get a hold of. He's also not picking his mail up. I had the neighbors contact me that the postman said he was going to quit service of delivery because there was probably 3 months worth of mail in the carport. And
do you know if he's alive?
yes, I have been texting him, and he assures me he's going to pay me, which I don't know why he would, because the electricity's off. I went to the house. He said he was in rehab. This is actually the 3rd rehab since January. I went to the house. I couldn't get past the front door because the stench was so bad because there's no service at the house. He was in rehab. He told me that because I told him I was going to go check.
Mr. Litton.
Okay.
Is a non-payment matter. I just need to make sure that you follow.
I know.
law.
I'll shut up. Okay.
So here's what I'm gonna get to.
So bottom line is,
Litton, I'm worried that you didn't serve him properly because you started talking and then you kind of got me
oh
scared.
no,
So
I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask you because there's only certain ways you can serve a defendant with a notice to vacate.
Yes.
So you said you went to the house, but you didn't actually go inside the home. Is that correct?
Correct.
So did you put it on the front door in an envelope?
Yes, I put it on the front door and the side.
Did you mail it as well?
I did not mail it because he was not picking his mail
That
up.
doesn't matter, Mr. Luton. I can't evict him if you didn't give him a proper service.
Okay.
If
Well,
you
I could
literally just not said anything, you would have won your case.
Okay. Well,
I appreciate your honesty, but like you've got to do both. Here's your options. This is going to change January 1st, though. So for you, maybe that might make you feel better about it. But like right now, the law says in order for you to give him a notice to vacate, you have to do it a very particular set of ways. You can either go inside the house and put it on the inside of the front door, right? If you fear for your safety, if the deadbolt's on, if you can't get in the house because there's too much stuff that you can't open the door, right? Any of those reasons, then you can put it on the front door in an envelope and mail it the same day, and it counts that day as giving it to him. Or you can just mail it and it counts as him receiving it 3 days after you mail it. The fourth way you can do it is literally hand it to him. Those are the only ways in Texas you can do it. So if you only put it on the door and you didn't mail it, you haven't notified him.
All right. Well, I put it on the door. I'll just say one thing. I put it on the door. I texted him, and he responded to my text that I put the notice of vacate on the door. So
how did he respond?
I can look up the text message right here. Let me get the Ismail. Hold on. Let me get to the pictures where I sent him the pictures that I had put it on there. I said, Ismail.
I do. I see the photos, sir. I see the photos, Mr. Luton.
Yeah. And he said, I'll pay it, sir, is what he responded to me.
All right. Actually, you send me the text messages, sir.
I will. I'll screenshot and send you the text. I did send you the text.
You did. That's what I'm saying. You did, sir. You sent them to us. So you provided all your evidence to the court.
So, yeah, I didn't.
All right. Mr. Luton, now that constitutes service for me. I see these screenshots. I'm not going to share them, but I see exactly. Yeah, he responds. I see it on the door. I see the photos inside. Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Luton, you said this was also a non-payment as well as the lease violations and the holdover. How much was the monthly rent?
The monthly rent is, $18.45. And then the prorated, I guess, for October, even though the lease has expired, is like 400 and I think some odd dollars. I'm really not even wanting the rent. I'm just wanting possession of the house.
Mr. Luton, so that's the thing that you have as the landlord, right? You absolutely have that option. Per the law, if you have a lease and the lease required payment of rent, even if the lease has expired and the person is now a holdover, that rental amount continues forward. If someone is, the benefit of the bargain, if they're using your property, you're as the landlord allowed to seek the rent for it if they had been otherwise due.
Right.
Just because you can ask me to give you a monetary award doesn't mean you're required to.
Right.
Today, you've met your burden. You've established for me that you have a tenant, that the tenant had a lease, that under the terms of that lease, the lease has been violated to wit. They have not made a payment. They have violated the lease by not maintaining the property, and you've given them a notice of that. I can also see, and I've already confirmed that they received proper in-person notice directly hand-delivered from Deputy Gaitan for service of the hearing today and of the lawsuit, and here is that, to Mr. Variel there for 25-13-35. So the defendant is aware of the lawsuit. He was aware of the notice to vacate, and he has not made any appearance today. Mr. Luton, if you want to have an eviction given to you today, I can make you an award for possession only. And that means that the only monetary award is cost of court. And then if Mr. Variel does not remove himself in the next 5 days or appeal, you can seek a writ of possession on day 6 and move forward with it that way. If you'd like to get the possession and the award of rent, you can do so. And then whether or not you pursue getting the money is up to you. That's your option as to how you'd like me. What would you like for the court to put on the order? Money and possession or just possession?
Just possession. He doesn't have a job. He can't, he's in dire straits, right? So I'm not gonna whip somebody for a alcohol problem, right?
Mr. Luton, I think that's very generous of you and a very, 2 thumbs up, right? I'm a judge, so you do what you want under the law, but I would say I can appreciate what you're doing for your tenant there, despite kind of the situation. All right, then today it's going to be a judgment for the plaintiff. It's a possession only award. I am awarding that based on both non-payment and lease violations. And then if either party wants to appeal, I would use the rent amount of $18.45 on appeal. But Mr. Luton, if you or him wanted to appeal and he can't afford it, they would qualify for an affidavit. Okay, sir?
All right, so it's 5 calendar days that I can file for the.
That's right. On day 6, you can seek the writ of possession with us.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, good luck, sir. And you have up to 60 days to do that. So let's say you're working with Mr. Variel and you want to give him, you have up to 60 days to seek that writ of possession.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All parties are excused. Have a good morning, sir.
You too, bye-bye.